Hi, I'm Judd. Welcome to the Loft at Studio J. I'm going to take you on a little tour of the history and detail of this venue. We built it in about 2013, and it's called the Loft at Studio J because our photography studio used to be here. It is no longer here because we have an expanded front lobby, which just was done in 2019, as you can see kind of behind me. So let's go on in. I'll give you a little behind the scenes tour. A lot of people ask us what this used to be, and it used to be back in the day Jandis department store. It was 3 stores wide, like the whole upper level of the loft. The 3 stories below was all department store. Right over here was a big door under that iron arch. That was the shoe department, actually. We met a lawyer, his name is Steve Silverman, who actually was the first security camera. He actually had a little perch up here, and the employees didn't know he was there. I think he was the son of the owner. And he'd walk up the stairs and sit there all day long and look for people stealing things, shoplifting, and also employee theft. So after Jandis department store, it was a Tibetan doll shop called Kmitch Girls. And that was a really interesting, unique place that a lot of celebrities and stuff, including Liberace, would come to here in Stillwater to look at the Tibetan dolls. Then right before us, it was Red Rover, which was a child's toy store. There was a big wheel upstairs, and that's in the before picture, and they would kind of drive around in there. And then we took over the place as our photography studio in 2010. Let's go on upstairs. So we call this the upside down staircase, which doesn't quite make sense, but it's a brand new staircase, but we used all of the old material. So the top plate is the joists that were cut out to make this stairwell. And then these front facings are the floorboards, actually, or the subfloor that we whitewashed. Little child labor with my kids there. And then the treads of the staircase are the actual floorboards that used to be up here. So we reused all this material, so it's both priceless and free. This Coke sign was up here, bought it for $100, and we had it put together. And it was outside of Stillwater on the side of a barn, maybe in the 50s. And kind of went to a couple different businesses. It was over in the River Exchange building, and then ended up here. We put it on the wall and taken lots of pictures on it. On this side over here, we actually did some dumpster diving and to find this old tin and rusty tin. This is on the Commander building, which is now tin bins. But we went over there shooting with it so much, when they tore it off and made new tin, we just grabbed it, made it our own backdrop. So similarly, there was over by the riverboats, there was this cool red door with this tin, and we walked there all the time, but it was took a while to get over there and walk, so we just made them here. So we've got this 4-door array back here, and room number 9 has all our audio visual in it. The centerpiece of our bar is this Lather's axe. Mr. JP dropped it behind the wall, and he's probably like, well, I dropped it, it's gone. Probably cost him a month's salary. But it's kind of cool. It's how they used to put lath and plaster, and they'd cut it and they'd hit it with nails on the other side. Interestingly enough, one of our contractors left a Sawzall in the floor and a cosmic switch of tools, maybe 100 years apart. There's now an electric Sawzall somewhere in the floor that some future generation will unearth and maybe sink into their bar if they still have bars. Behind me at the bar here, this is a triple beam that we actually cut out of the stairwell to make room for our little lift, which is a kind of a pseudo elevator. But that's why it fits perfectly along that edge, and then they kind of use those cross beams to make sure that it didn't sway. A lot of these boards here at the loft, like this one right here, has survived a fire. So this was in between 2 joist spaces where the fire went up. And a lot of times in these old buildings in Stillwater, a building would burn down and they'd reuse the lumber to build other buildings. So a lot of buildings have new lumber and old lumber and burned lumber as part of them. So these lights right here are from the roof. So we pulled out the roof, it was tin. And then we had one of our grooms, Kyle, who is an amazing artist and built our tables actually too. He shot a bow and arrow through them to make those pin lights. And so this is the tin from the ceiling with that. And then he's an expert marksman, so he got really good here. No, I'm kidding, that was a machine to that one. But check out over here. This is an old toilet tank that was in a back closet. So in the men's room, we actually have the old bench with the seat on it. And this is the tank that you'd pull to flush. In the bathroom hallway, we have this timeline of the construction and all the people that were at our grand opening. We had about 600 people here for our grand opening. And here's a picture of me when it was a toy shop before we bought it. This was a table left by one of our renters as a gift, and it has, nobody knows how many pennies there are in there. It's actually 4,444, so 44 bucks. Don't steal it. Here's our before and after. This is 2009 when we were considering buying the place. Here's me talking to the landlord, Mike Linsky, who owns the building. And it was a tricycle, not a big wheel. I made that mistake. And then here's the after shot. We opened in the fall of 2013 and took this image in 2014. We used to have band equipment. This is a subwoofer and speakers and monitors, and we'd kind of have our own little music section there. There was also a disco ball added later and some party lights that have since been taken down for chandeliers. So part of the history that you didn't know probably. Kind of a key feature of the loft is this wood wall that Josh Schneider-Kuzman conceived of and built, and we have replicas over at JX. It's basically 2x4s and 2x6s cut in waves. We know that we wanted something very photogenic in this area for pictures with brides and so forth, and that did the trick. So this is the rose room, and this is an image that we created with baby oil and actual roses as a composite, but that's in honor of our spirit that may or may not be here, Rose. She loves parties and flushing toilets. So this is our lower studio area when we used to be photographers here. Some of our pictures that we've taken and so forth, so that's why you see these. The groom's area, or this downstairs lounge, was where we pick out images with folks, and we still shoot a lot of weddings, so if you're interested in photography, give us a call. But thank you for learning a little bit about the history and detail of the Loft at Studio J. Have a great day.